We're up here in Wyoming, high country elk hunt. The season's been open for a couple weeks. This is one of our better tags in the state right now, but we just haven't had time to come up. We've been so busy at work. We've been hustling around the country doing some other hunts. So this is the first time we've been up here. It's a good unit, especially when it snows a little more. There's not as much snow up here as we like to see, but there's a little, and there's nobody else at the trailhead, so that's always a good sign. So we're gonna get these horses packed up, get the saddles tight, throw a gun on, and we're gonna get up the mountain. Late season elk hunting, I don't know if it's for me. I'm more of an August, September type of guy. It started out pretty nice down in the trailers, but we're up here and the wind's starting to blow, and it's gonna just keep blowing, I'm afraid. But we've got a bunch of snow blowing off these cornices up above us, and it's miserable and it's cold. We're gonna get up on top of this pass, kind of look down into another drainage. We just made our way up this big long drainage here, and didn't see much but some big mule deer. Gonna get over the top. Hopefully we can find some pockets out of the wind, maybe some elk we hold up. But it's a windy, cold bugger. But we'll keep going after it. Well, that got exciting there pretty quick. Just looking at those ewes, and Randy turns around, sees one bull coming over the ridge there about 800 yards. Boy, they're just hanging out right there at about 500 right now. It's too bad they couldn't have brought one a little bigger with them. But biggest one in that bunch was a little 6-point. Then there's a little bigger 5-point in there, but for this unit, that's not quite what we're looking for. Believe it or not, we've seen a group of probably, I don't know, 100 elk, and then another group of about 400. They kind of merged together. They went down into this drainage, and we've just been sitting here watching to see if they come out. It doesn't look like they're gonna. We're gonna bail off the mountain for tonight. You know, there was 2 bulls in there that were potentials. They were a couple miles away when we seen them, and just hard to really glass when it's this windy. So. But we'll be up there in the morning. It doesn't look like they're gonna come out of there tonight, so we might get lucky. We'll see what happens.
It seems like on a daily basis we get phone calls from our customers that are asking us how do we clean these rifles and what products do we use to get that job done. Now, at the end of the season, You should always do a full tear down, deep clean of your rifle, and then throughout the season, as your point of impact changes because of the fouling, we're going to need to clean that rifle throughout the year to maintain that first shot point of impact. So today we're going to go over the products that we use, why we use them, and why these are the products that we have chosen. So the first thing we're going to talk about is probably the most important, and that's our little cleaning bench here. There's several different models. I like this tipped-in version because it's very portable. I can take it to the range, pop my little rifle holders out and stick the rifle in, and I've got something that I can clean my gun at the range, on a hunt, or here in the shop. Once we've got the rifle in place like we have here, these are some of the other products that we're going to use. We'll start with our cleaning rods. We like these tipped-in ones because they have a double roller bearing in them, and that allows a free spin of the rod as you're pushing your patch in and out. Anybody that's done some cleaning without one knows that your brushes or your jags will just spin right off if you don't have a good ball bearing system. I also like that they're carbon fiber. It seems like over the years these carbon fiber ones embed less grit into the rod itself, and so you're introducing less actual grit into the rifle as you're cleaning it. The next thing I want to talk about is the brushes and the jags that we use. You guys have all seen the brushes that we use. They are nylon brushes. We use the nylon brush so that we can turn the brush and stop it in the bore and bring it back the other direction while it's in the bore. Let's say we need to work on a tough spot, an extra fouled spot in your barrel. The bronze or brass bristled brushes, they work fine, but you have to remember that they have to go all the way through the bore, out the other end, and all the way, and then you can bring them back the other direction. You cannot stop those in the bore, or else it will do damage to your bore. So just remember, we like the nylon brushes so we can get in there and scrub different spots of the rifle bore, maybe your throat, or right on the end of your barrel on the crown, and you can get in there with these nylon brushes and just work them over really good. The next product we want to talk about is the jag selection that you choose. There's a lot of good jags out there. We use these tipped-in ones. They make a nice little set that you can mount on your wall that has all the different sizes in there. But we like these stainless steel jags because, as opposed to the bronze jags, if you're using the more caustic or harsh cleaning products, they can give you a false copper reading. So we like these stainless ones. They work very well. Be sure that you're using the proper size jag and the proper size patch in your bore. I'm sure we've all been there and got one stuck in there, and it is a pain in the rear to get these out of your bore once they're stuck on a patch. The next product we want to talk about that we use is just some good old patches. We like these Butch's patches because they're a very rough finish on the patch. They do a good job getting your bore clean if you're using wipeout or something like that, where you're using more patches than brushes. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes. Be sure that you get the right size for your bore so you're not sticking them in the bore, and it makes it a lot easier on your cleaning rod and the cleaning process itself. The next item we want to talk about is our bore guide. We use these Possum Hollow bore guides as much as we can, but there are applications where they don't have your action or the caliber size to fit your chamber, so you won't be able to use these. But I like these because they have a nice O-ring sealed fit that goes into your chamber. It seals all that cleaning material from coming back and ending up in your mag box or somewhere in your action or your rifle on top of your trigger. If you can't find one of these Possum Hollow bore guides for your caliber, Tipton has a great universal kit. It goes in essentially any bolt action. You can lock it down, and then it's got several different tips for a whole bunch of different calibers. This is probably a good option for you guys that have 6 or 7 different rifles. You can just take one thing to the field and have a great bore guide, for any situation. All right, the next item we want to talk about is your action cleaning tools. So you've got a tool with a little gauze pad in it that'll clean out your bolt lug recess where your bolt lugs engage. This is very important because there's a lot of carbon and stuff that'll fall down in there eventually. You need to clean that out to prevent galling on your bolt lugs. The second is your chamber cleaning mop. You get this in there, you'll clean out where your bore guide sat, and it cleans all the residue out where your cartridge is going to go. Tipton makes a handy little kit. It's got both of them in it, a nice little brush, and a whole bunch of little accessories or different mops and brushes for different sizes of actions. This is a great little kit, very inexpensive, and it'll save you a bunch of time in the field.
Kind of shifted gears this morning. We were up in the mountains yesterday, and it kind of weathered up there last night right when we were leaving, and we heard of a bull down here on some of these flats on some private. We got some permission to hunt this private. So we're out here trying to spot him. We've got a few bulls spotted. They're a couple miles away. It's still a little dark. I think as soon as that sun pokes up, we'll be able to see him a little bit better. But man, it's nice not having 5 coats on and the wind howling. Just kind of down here in the sagebrush flats, so just kind of one extreme to the other. So you can see the mountains behind me. That's kind of where we were yesterday. So this is a lot easier country down here. We just caught the back end of a herd of elk going up this draw. We didn't get to see about half of them, so we're just gonna sneak right out here on top of them, see what they are. But they're just right here. Well, I think we just about got glass on all of those elk over there. The biggest bull is a nice bull, but he's just not what we're looking for. Just kind of a weak top end. You know, we're starting to actually wonder what the heck's going on. You're supposed to shoot some big bulls in this unit, but we've looked over probably 2,000 head of elk in the last 10 days, and this is one of the bigger bulls that we've seen. It's kind of disappointing. It's just an off year. We've heard that from some other guys hunting that are regulars, and it's just disappointing. But supposed to shoot bigger bulls than that, but we're getting towards the end of the season, and we definitely want to get a bull on the ground. We've got some other ones we're gonna go take a peek at. We're gonna let these settle down, and we'll get out of here. Well, we actually got the gun out of the truck this time. Got on a new herd of elk. 1.5 and 1 little 6. It seems this time of the year, if the big bunches of cows just don't have the big bulls in there. We're looking for some bachelor herds of bulls, but we're just not finding them. You know, we got a group of 150 up here. We just were on a group of 200, maybe even 300 in that group. We need the group of 10 with all 6 points in there, you know. That's what we're looking for. But hey, we're actually only about an hour from work, so we're gonna just pack it up, go to work, and maybe hit it this evening. So we'll see. last day. We've been hitting it hard for about a week straight. We kind of had a big bull shot out from underneath us yesterday, unfortunately, but we roll up into this other spot, and it's do or die today. Good thing is we pull up and there's 75, 80 head of elk just right across the creek from us, 670 yards. Big bunch up there, about 900 yards. They're all cows, but I mean the elk are out, so doesn't sound like anybody's been up in here buggering them. So maybe we'll have a chance today, but just do or die. At him. He's a 340, 350 bull. I think we found our bachelor group of bulls finally. I mean, we're not there yet, but they're there. About a mile and a half away, but there's some good ones. They're all bulls. We're gonna be exposed here for a little bit, so we're just trying to figure out the best way to go about approaching these elk. I think we're gonna kind of go up around the corner and get down in the bottom of the straw. Hopefully we can get close enough for a shot. He's 1,080.
Got him. One shot.
Mike, hell of a shot, man. Hell of a shot. Perfect win.
Huh?
Oh my heavens.
Huh?
Oh, holy smokes.
Huh?
1,060 yards. The rangefinder, because we're up here about 10,000 feet, said dial to 1,000 yards. That's the longest shot I've ever made on camera, I think. I think it is. One shot, big bull. We've hunted all day. We've had these crazy winds up here. We've been sitting up here for probably a half an hour, just trying to figure out what wind to hold. We ended up holding for 10 mile an hour. We hold 3.8 minutes up here. That's 38 inches of wind, and it just pile drived him. And he's a good bull too. I mean, we're last day in this thing, and we got him. Oh yeah,
Good shot, Mike.
dude, I watched it can him. I watched it can him. He's right up here, 100 yards in front of us. It's gonna be a nice little climb up to him. But you can see, we couldn't sneak up the bottom at him because it's just wide open. That's why we had to shoot him from them trees way down there. Oh. He's nothing like that monster we had yesterday that got shot out from underneath us, but this is a great last day bull. I'm happy with him. Happy with the shot. Hunting this elk is not easy business. It's got pretty good mass. You know, if you look down below us, it's all open, just wide open. And there was no way to approach this guy from the bottom. We had to climb the next ridge over on the back side of it. Tried a couple different things. Finally, we had to drop down through the timber and the snow and got an angle on this bull. we had to shoot him at right at 1,080 yards in order to, it's the only place we could shoot from. You know, as soon as we crested that hill, it dipped off, and there was just no way to shoot. We had to take him from there. So I'm stoked. My boy's gonna love this one in his bedroom, and I can't wait to get off this mountain. It's cold and windy, and we're way up there. So
Hunting apparel for long-range pursuit provided by Sitka and Kenetrek Boots of Montana. License applications made through Cabela's Tags. Brought to you by Gunwerks, G7 Optics, Night Force, Hornady, Flatline Ops, and Caldwell Shooting Supplies.
he was 1,080. I come back, says dial to 1,009. I hit the arrow key. It says for a 10-mile-an-hour wind, I need to hold 3.8 minutes. We doped a 10-mile-an-hour wind with our Caldwell wind meter, and we hammered that thing. And all we got to do now is go get him out of here. And we can go home, baby. We're done.